Gypsy lost 40 pounds, it was, oh, she must be on Ozempic. If I'm sniffling, oh, he must be on hardcore, you know what? It's always going to, if I were to just get ripped over the next 6 months, which won't happen, by the way, but if I did, it'd be, oh, he's on steroids. It's always going to be the most dramatic conclusion as possible. And if you don't believe me, which I'm sure a lot of you don't have to take my word for it. Let's go ahead and talk about CPS. Maybe you can take this as facts. So before Aurora was born, we kind of knew that CPS would definitely be called on us by our snarks and haters and trolls. And we prepared for it. We knew that it's an unfortunate reality that we knew we were going to deal with. And, they're going to report a bunch of false allegations against us, false lies, and, just attack us in any way they can and just cause an uproar and, hurt us as much as they can. So one day CPS comes by our house. This is not too long ago. And, we're fully cooperative. So we let them come in. They toured our house, took pictures of everything. Even took pictures inside of our fridge for whatever reason. Took pictures of the inside of our drawers in our room, all kinds of crazy stuff. And of course they tested us, because these allegations were, we're neglecting Aurora, we're leaving her at home to go out and party, and we're blowing wind in her face and just not taking care of her. It was all false, all BS. And so I knew that, inevitably we'd have to deal with a caseworker. And so she came over, she interviewed us separately, toured our house, took pictures of everything, made sure. And I'm trying to watch my verbiage on this because I know there are a lot of things you can say to get banned or get your live kicked off. So words that I would never say. They made sure all of our pew-pews were locked up correctly and made sure that we didn't have any chemicals out and available. Just all the normal stuff. And then they, of course, tested us. And not only were UAs given, but hair was given. Okay. And just recently, as of a few months ago, our case was closed because nothing comes back. And they realized that as much as you guys don't want it to be true, as much as a lot of our haters and snarks there don't want it to be true, Aurora is in a very safe environment and in a very well taken care of household. And that's just the reality that y'all have to get over. So if you don't believe me when I say that I'm not using anything, you can believe the fact that our case file was closed and that we were tested and for that case file to be closed. And our caseworker even told us, unfortunately, because of y'all's notoriety, I don't expect these false calls to stop coming in, just like with her PO, all the time, false calls, lies, etc. So for me to go and develop a habit right now, knowing that, any day they can come knock on my door again, it's just ridiculous. It's out of the question, and it's just never going to happen. So you believe what you want, but that's the facts, and that's the reality. So, it's an unfortunate thing that we have to deal with. I don't fear CPS. We're very cooperative with them. And no, I'm not going to show the letter that proves our case was closed because it has our address on it. So I'm not going to show that, and it's unnecessary. But I don't fear CPS because again, we know that Aurora is very well taken care of, and she's in a very happy home. And as much as y'all don't want to believe that, it doesn't matter because that's the truth, and that's what we focus on. We focus on being parents, and of course we make mistakes. I've done things that I'm learning. This is my first child, but Aurora has never been in any kind of danger and never would be. To think that I would go live in my hotel room and pan the camera away and kneel over and, I got to watch my verbiage here. Well, that's obvious. It's obvious that, of course, the pew-pews are mine. Yeah, definitely. It's insane, but that's like I said, people jump to the most wildest and most ridiculous of conclusions from every little microanalyzation of our lives, and that's the way it'll always be. We've been battling insane rumors from Jump Street, the fact that people think that Aurora isn't real and that we faked a pregnancy. And 2 months ago, I was accused of being on different, substances. And the month before that, it was a different one. And it's never going to stop. It's a never ending battle. But I just find it hilarious that Ryan, of all people, is going to come on his live and point his finger at me and accuse me and call me a dope head, which I don't know. If this live gets kicked off for the things that I'm saying, then I'll have to just make a video and post it to X because that's the only platform I think I can talk about certain things without being shut down. So, but I think that it's hilarious that out of all people, he's going to be the one that points his finger at me and accuses me and calls me out and calls me a dopehead when he himself is on a daily prescription substance medication. Like, and that was, brought to light, recently. So, I mean, and I'm not knocking anybody who's on that particular prescription. If it helps you turn your life around and it helps you stay sober or get off street drugs or whatever. I said the bad word. Then I'm all for it. Good for you. But you just have some nerve to be on that daily certain substance and then point a finger at me and call me a dopehead. That to me is hilarious and insane. But it's always going to be the case with this guy, like that's all that he's ever going to do. He's never not going to go live. Here's my new challenge. My new challenge for you, Ryan, is this: go live one time without mentioning my name or mentioning Gypsy's name once. Let's see if you can do that. Like, it's been over a year. It's time for you to just move on with your life and get off these coattails you keep riding, and stop mentioning us. And I won't have to come back here and talk about you again. Like, I'm only even doing this live to address your ridiculousness that you did last night. So that's just the way it is. And if you can, keep an audience off of different subjects, if you want to talk about whatever is interesting in your life, wrestling, whatever the hell it is, and retain an audience that way, then it's a win-win. Good for you. Move on with yourself. But the fact that you always go live and like it's just inevitable that you mention me, you mention Gypsy, you talk your trash. Is it really all that you have? Like, dude, move on with yourself. It's really sad at this point. And then again, the nerve that you have to point a finger at me and accuse me of being on substances is just hilarious. And like I said, moving on from that, I don't fear CPS at all, but I do fear for my safety. I fear for Gypsy's safety, and of course I fear for Aurora's safety. Because our address has been leaked. I've seen it on TikTok. I've seen it on other forums and etc. So yeah, I do worry that one day, any day now, we're going to get swatted, or a brick's going to come through my window and hit Aurora or something like that. Things that no parent should ever have to worry about. Okay, so now my life's been restricted. That's fine. Okay. See, I know that if I mention certain things, it's going to get restricted. It hasn't been shut down. Restart? Okay, well,